MMA Fighting presents Timeline: Israel Adesanya versus Yoel Romero. September 10th, 2011. Strikeforce Heavyweight Grand Prix Semifinals. Cincinnati, Ohio. The 4-0 Yoel Romero makes his American broadcast debut against the former Strikeforce light heavyweight champion, Rafael Fejal Cavalcante. The fight is contested at 205 pounds.
Oh no, he's too good. This guy's too good. You train?
Yeah, I do. I'm saying,
Move around a little bit, huh? Just shadow box? See this guy right here? You're gonna beat the out of this guy on Saturday. Right? No contest, man. Don't be surprised when this guy runs through the guy.
my friend.
Yes,
Daniel,
very good.
Romero suffers the first loss of his career, losing by knockout late in the second round. April 20th, 2013, UFC on Fox 7, Henderson vs. Melendez, San Jose, California. After a 2-year hiatus, Romero returns to the cage, this time in the UFC and at his new weight class of 185 pounds. Romero is set to face the 8-1 Clifford Starks as the curtain jerker of the card. The Soldier of God wins by a spectacular flying knee 90 seconds in the first round and takes home a $50,000 bonus check for knockout of the night.
And Yoel, congratulations on this massive win for you. It's so huge in your UFC debut. Can you describe how you're feeling to go out there for the first time in the octagon and finish your opponent like that?
Bueno, me siento muy contento. El estar acá en el UFC ha sido pues, mi gran anhelo, mi gran sueño.
He feels really great, and actually being in the UFC was always his dream, so this is the best way to start it.
This may be a silly question, but you got a silver medal in the 2000 Summer Olympic Games in wrestling. UFC debut here, to have it finish like that, which one means more to you? Which one was more exciting?
¿Cuál fue más importante para ti, la medalla de plata que cogiste en el 2000 o este debut que hiciste en el UFC ahora mismo?
Creo que las dos tienen el mismo riesgo, o sea, el mismo nivel, la misma importancia, porque es con el amor y el sacrificio que uno le pone a lo que está haciendo.
They both are equally the same because it's about the love and the training he puts into it that really makes out what it is. So they're both just the same effect on him.
It was unbelievable. Congratulations on the win and good luck in your UFC career.
Thank you so much.
Romero follows up with a win over Ronnie Marks at UFC Fight Night 31, Fight for the Troops 3, in Fort Campbell, Kentucky. Romero would then go on to defeat Derek Brunson at UFC Fight Night 35, Rockhold vs. Philippou in Duluth, Georgia. April 19th, 2014, UFC on Fox 11, Verdum vs. Brown, Orlando, Florida. The 7-1 Yoel Romero is matched up against UFC veteran Brad Tavares. Romero wins by unanimous decision.
And quickly, if I could, for Yoel, this was, I thought, the best, most complete performance of your career so far. Was there something different? How did you approach the fight?
Bueno, el trabajo que veníamos haciendo mediante todo este tiempo que hemos estado trabajando con mi colectivo ha ido saliendo y eso fue lo que pasó. Hoy empezamos, la pelea se fue dando como veníamos planeando. Empezaron, mis entrenadores me dijeron, vamos a hacer un poco más de mixed martial, ¿entiendes? Se sabe que lo que estábamos haciendo en las últimas peleas era un poco más de boxeo, entonces vamos a hacer un poco más de mixed martial.
Okay, we've been training all along to build up to what we wanted to do depending on the fight we were having. And this fight was the first fight that we were not going to be doing just boxing, but bring a little bit more of the mixed martial arts into the game.
Is it just me, or is he the Cuban Godfather? Anybody else get that?
September 27th, 2014. UFC 178, Johnson vs. Carriazo, Las Vegas, Nevada. Yoel Romero is scheduled in his toughest fight to date, opposite top contender Tim Kennedy.
What do you think a win over Tim Kennedy does for you in the division? It's an interesting time right now at 185. Do you think you would be maybe one win away from fighting for the belt at that point?
I think it's very good for me for my career, you know, because she has a good big name in the UFC. I think this is a good time for me. I think it's very good.
How long do you want to fight for? Until what age?
Hasta que Dios diga.
Until God tells him it's time.
It's always up to God, right? You don't make any decisions.
No, that my life is for God.
You are the soldier of God.
Yes, that's it.
In one of the most bizarre sequences, Romero recovers from a late knockdown in round 2, with controversy surrounding the amount of time taken during the break, and comes back to defeat Kennedy less than a minute into round 3. The bout would win Fight of the Night honors.
Yoel, can you talk, first of all, how badly were you hurt at the end of the first round?
You know, it's the punch in the face. When somebody push the face, sometimes you a little bad, but I can go in the fight. Not too bad.
So, do you think the extra time with wiping the Vaseline and all the stuff that went on, you got to sit on the stool a lot longer than you normally would have, 30, 35 seconds, some people were estimating. Do you think that that helped you recover more quickly?
Maybe. I don't know.
Dana, do you think then it's deserving for Tim Kennedy to get a rematch on that situation? If it was a really good fight, Kennedy was in command at the end of the first round, and then he loses the fight based on crazy circumstances.
Right, and that's what I was saying. I mean, like I said, everybody knows that's an old trick, an old dirty trick. But the thing that throws the kink in the whole thing is it was our guy that put the Vaseline on, so there was nobody, trying to take advantage, and they called his guy back in to wipe the Vaseline off. He didn't understand what they were saying.
Wiping it back.
Yeah, exactly. So, it's very unfortunate, and it's an odd thing that absolutely never happens. Who knows? I mean, I would have to see how he feels. How I'm sure Kennedy wants a rematch, but you can't take anything away from the guys. It was a awesome fight.
June 27th, 2015, UFC Fight Night 70, Machida versus Romero, Hollywood, Florida. Romero is booked in his first UFC main event opposite former champion Lyoto Machida. In a breakout performance, Romero knocks out Machida by devastating elbows. December 12, 2015, UFC 194, Aldo vs. McGregor, Las Vegas, Nevada. Romero is matched up against veteran top contender Ronaldo Jacare Souza on the blockbuster pay-per-view main card. Romero wins a highly contentious split decision.
This seems like now you are the #1 contender. So I'm curious, your thoughts on fighting for the title next, and what did you think of Luke's performance, assuming you saw it?
Sorry. Bueno, primeramente que ha sido el trabajo de muchas personas.
First and foremost, it's been the job of many people.
Nada se logra solo.
Nothing is attained by yourself.
Mis compañeros de trabajo, mi team, mis entrenadores, mis training partners.
His training partners, his team, everyone involved.
Mi hija, mi esposa.
His wife, his daughter.
Toda esta gente han tenido que ver con este resultado.
All these people have to do with these results.
Y si estoy aquí es porque me lo he ganado.
And if I'm here, it's because I've won it.
Y estoy aquí para lo que se avecine.
And I'm here for whatever may come.
Si es un título, pues a pelear por el título.
If it's for a title, I'm going to fight for a title.
Con los mismos deseos.
With the same wants.
Con los mismos focus.
With the same focus.
Las mismas ganas.
And the same need.
November 12th, 2016, UFC 205, Alvarez vs. McGregor, New York, New York. Yoel Romero is once again booked on the main card for a giant pay-per-view, this time opposite former middleweight champion and New York native Chris Weidman.
Along now, Yoel Romero. He defeats Chris Weidman via vicious flying knee in the third round. Weidman goes for the takedown, and Romero timed it perfectly. He jumps over the cage, starts doing this sort of soldier of God strut, if you will. It was very interesting, and then even more interesting was his post-fight comments. And how about that? Michael Bisping you know, sitting in the rafters of Madison Square Garden working for Fox. They have an amazing exchange, and Joe Rogan tells the entire audience that Romero is the #1 contender at 185 pounds. Are you surprised that he got it done in this setting, considering everything that Weidman had going for him? He's fighting in New York. This is a moment that he's been dreaming about in the 3rd round. To catch Weidman in a sequence like that, considering who Weidman is and his background, were you surprised by the result?
I'm surprised by how it went down, but you can never be too surprised by anything that Yoel Romero does, because he is a wild card. I mean, the guy is so unpredictable. You just can't predict. You just don't know what the heck the guy's gonna do next. To win by flying knee in the 3rd round, close fight up until that point. You know, it was really almost up for grabs. Could have been Weidman's fight there very easily. Weidman kind of shoots in, and Romero just almost takes his head off. That was just brutal. The way that that Weidman's head snapped to the side. Wow, I mean, Romero is just a different kind of athlete.
Yeah, and unlike Tony Ferguson last week, he really takes advantage of his mic time and starts calling out Bisping. I mean, it was just brilliant stuff, and it got a lot of people, I think, excited for him to fight for the belt, as opposed to Jacare, who just doesn't have a lot of momentum behind him. Do you like that fight? Is that the fight to make, considering how the division now shakes out?
Well, it's funny because we talked about this before coming in. We said if Chris Weidman can finish it emphatically, that would be a slam dunk, and then we get the opposite. But I think it works the same. It just didn't fit the narrative of this guy coming home and he doesn't get it. But I still think that Yoel, like he distinguished himself and did it violently. And it's always really interesting to watch that guy. Like you said, he's got a flair for dramatics, and unexpected, bizarre things happen. But he also sort of starts slow. It almost seems like he's hesitant to do anything for a while in his fights. It takes him a while to warm up. But once he lands something, it's always just so devastating, I feel like. Or weird turns and all this stuff, but
mira, esto es un deporte de, aunque tú lo veas quizás de una forma brutal, como los bárbaros del tiempo de los romanos, no es así.
This is a sport that maybe you see it as a brutal sport, like in the times of the barbarians in the Roman times, but that's not the case.
Aquí se estudia.
You study here.
Conocer al oponente.
You study your opponent.
Y yo vi que estaba desgastándose.
And I saw him fading.
Que yo venía creciendo.
And that he kept on rising.
Y él no se sentía confortable arriba.
And he wasn't feeling comfortable on top.
Y yo sabía que iba a venir con los takedowns.
And I knew that he was going to continue
Esperé mi tiempo.
Get the takedowns, and I waited for my time.
July 8th, 2017, UFC 213, Romero versus Whittaker, Las Vegas, Nevada. Now riding an 8-fight win streak with 6 stoppages, Romero earns his first title shot. He is set to face Robert Whittaker for the interim 185-pound championship.
Your open workout yesterday, everyone's talking about it. Have you ever felt this way before? Have you ever felt in this kind of shape? It feels like this is the culmination of many years for you, but for everyone to be so blown away by the workout and the kind of shape that you're in, really, I mean, that was the news story of the day yesterday. Have you ever felt like this before in all your years of competing?
¿Alguna vez te has sentido como te sientes? Dice que todo el mundo está hablando del entrenamiento abierto que hiciste ayer. Nunca se te ha visto en tal shape, nunca se te ha visto de esta forma, nunca. Este es el colmo de tantos años de entrenamiento. ¿Cómo que has logrado tal cosa?
Día a día. Estas cosas se logran día a día. No es en una noche, no es en una madrugada, no es en una mañana. Es día a día.
It's day after day. Day after day. It's not in one morning, it's not in one evening, it's day after day after day.
Analizando los errores que tenemos. ¿Por qué no logramos esto bien? ¿Por qué logramos esto bien? Se estudia, se redarguye allá abajo, bien allá en el fondo, para que esto se complemente como se está complementando.
Analyzing all the errors that have been made in the past and looking at past mistakes and going over things, minute details over and over, just so that it can complement itself and become better after every day.
Whittaker wins a very competitive decision. Their title clash earns Fight of the Night honors from the UFC. February 10th, 2018, UFC 221, Romero versus Rockhold, Perth, Australia. Originally booked as Whittaker versus Rockhold for the 185-pound championship, the interim champion Whittaker pulls out due to multiple injuries and illnesses. Yoel Romero is booked as a late replacement. However, Romero misses the 185-pound championship weight limit, coming in at 187.7 pounds. 1 minute and 48 seconds into the second round, Romero knocks out Rockhold. Also on this card, an 11-0 Kiwi training out of Auckland City Kickboxing makes his UFC debut on the early prelims and defeats the 11-1 Rob Wilkinson by second round TKO. April 14th, 2018, UFC on Fox 29, Poirier vs. Gaethje, Glendale, Arizona. Israel Adesanya makes his United States MMA debut, facing Marvin Vittori.
After your first fight, I saw a lot of people giving it young John Jones comparisons. But I think the physical attributes are undeniable, but your games are different. I mean, so
Exactly.
do you welcome that comparison? Do you not?
For me, it's not about John Jones. It's just, I mean, I feel like it's disrespectful if you try and compare me or what I've done throughout my career to someone else, you know, whether it be Anderson, Connor, Chael, whoever. I just feel, you know, I'm not the next blah, blah, blah. I'm the first me and the one and only me, so people are gonna get used to it. And yeah, the comparison is cool, but it's not really cool.
In February, you're making your debut, you're buried on an undercard. Now only a few months later, I mean, you're on a main card on Fox, millions of people gonna watch. Like, is this happening faster than you expected it to?
Not really. I kind of expected all this, and I knew once the UFC got a taste, you know, they'll be like, oh shit, all right, everything on them, bet on black. So I just knew it was gonna happen. But yeah, I've expected all this, and I mean, no different. When I'm in that cage, it doesn't matter whether I'm the first fight of the night or the main event. It's just me and another guy in that cage, and we're gonna do it. Yeah, being a champ is just, like I said, it's just a little trinket you get along the way when you on the level that I'm on. And I feel it's just gonna happen based on the way I fight, you know, based on my charisma, based on the way I just, you know, carry myself. And yeah, it's not really about the belt. It's about, for me, being the guy that people talk about when they talk about, like, who's the best that ever did this, you know? And I wanna be one of those guys that'll get top 3, you know, or they can just say, nah, it's him, guaranteed, bar none. And that's my goal, and having fun along the way, you know? The moniker, it comes from the TV series, you know, Avatar? The kids show, yeah. So I was watching that as a kid, and I kind of related to Aang, the main character, a lot in his journey, his quest to realize his destiny as the Avatar, because he has to master all the elements, fire, water, air, and earth, to realize that he's a guy of this world, you know? So in this game, I feel like I have to do the same. You know, I have to master all the elements of martial arts to realize my destiny as the Avatar.
Let me ask you, everybody was so excited with Israel in his debut, both in the cage, his creativity, but also on the mic, his confidence. Were you as impressed as everybody else was?
I was, but I knew it was coming, right? Like, we knew Israel Adesanya before people in the UFC got introduced to him, because I called him. I said, hey, are you willing to come and train with me before I fought Jones the first time? Because I saw the similarities right away, right? So when we watched him in preparation for the fight, thinking that we can get him as a training partner, what he did in there was no surprise. What did surprise me was his ability to stay within himself in his first UFC fight. Didn't get excited when he hurt his opponent. Took his time, stayed the course, defended takedowns, right? He would get taken down, get right back up to his feet. He just fought as well as you could expect for a guy making his UFC debut.
You look at Israel and sort of the body of work he's put together. I mean, his overall combat sports record is something ridiculous, 70 wins, something like that. How do you view him as a prospect? How do you rate him? Is he one of these blue chip prospects where by the end of the year, we may be talking about this guy in title contention? Or is this something where we maybe should slow our roll and let him get his feet wet?
It'll take some time, but not a really long time. It'll take a little bit of time for him to fight for a title. But I want you to know this, though, that when Yoel Romero and Luke Rockhold were going to fight for the interim title and Romero will miss weight, Israel said, hey, I'll fight Rockhold. No questions. He goes, I'll fight Rockhold for an interim title. Why not? That's the confidence of this young man. He's a really, really big-time prospect. The UFC seems to be putting, I mean, he's on Fox on his second fight in the promotion. There's a lot of hope that he could become a star. He has all of it, man. He has everything to become a star, but he's got to take care of Vittori.
Adesanya wins by decision.
For me, I just keep going forward. Like, I don't really care about the expectations of other people. It's just the expectations of myself and my team that I put on myself. So I expect highly of my performance. So tonight I'll give it like a 4 out of 10 if I'm being generous, like a 4 out of 10. But yeah. Next, I heard Brad call me out, Brad Tavares. So if you want to, he can get it. But let them they can all look at this fight and think, oh, he's been exposed or whatever, you know. Let them think that. Come see me and you see what happens when you're in there with me. Well, wait till later on. Well, this is my second fight in the UFC. It's my second fight in the biggest fight promotion in the world. So I'm still swimming well, you know, with these sharks. And yeah, you'll see. Just give me time. Try and beat me now, because every time I step in there, I get better. So if you want to try and beat me, try yesterday.
June 9th, 2018, UFC 225, Whittaker versus Romero 2, Chicago, Illinois. Yoel Romero is booked against the UFC middleweight champion Robert Whittaker in the pay-per-view main event.
Checking his weight. No word yet. They are checking his weight. And he weighs 185.2. That's 185.2 at 12:43 p.m. Central Time. That means that Yoel Romero is over by 0.2 pounds.
Whittaker can't defend the belt because the belt is no longer on the line. So here we have a champion in a non-title fight, which hasn't happened since Anderson Silva against Travis Lutter. It's a really weird situation. So what happens if Yoel Romero wins the fight tomorrow night? He's not the champion. Whittaker's still the champion, but he's coming off a loss. It's a bizarre situation. It's unfortunate. And also, want to add, Yoel Romero, okay, the fight's going to happen. That's all well and good. I'm glad that they're going to fight. I want to see this fight. It's a great fight. But we were like a few feet away from Yoel Romero just a few hours ago when he had to be helped by two members of his team. He was groaning and grimacing with every single step he was taking. He was you know, like hunched over. He looked horrible a few hours ago, and now he's going to go fight in about 24 hours from now. So I'm not a fan of anything about this. Again, it's a great fight. I hate to lose fights because this is why we're here. This is what we do, right? I mean, this is what fans want to see. They want to see the fight. But this weight cutting stuff, again, I mean, I know I'm a broken record, but when is this going to end?
In a Fight of the Year performance, Whittaker narrowly defeats Romero by split decision. According to MMADecisions.com, 15 of 28 members of the media had scored the fight for Yoel Romero, with only 5 scoring a win for Whittaker and 8 scoring a draw.
A very close fight, a very entertaining fight, a fight that may have a round of the year contender and maybe ends up being a fight of the year contender in the end for 2018. First off, right off the bat, who'd you score it for?
I scored it for Yoel Romero, and it was a weird fight in that I hate to use the old, it was a tale of two fights cliche, but in some ways it was, because the first 2 rounds were clearly Whittaker. Romero looked like, I guess he was being patient to be, at least he looked like he was being patient to be nice, but it looked like he was maybe not recovered fully from the weight cut. But then, you know, Yoel Romero, 3rd round comes, he starts, you know, throwing bombs on guys, and that's what happened. I thought he won the final 3 rounds, Romero, and I thought that the 5th round very well could have, maybe should have been a 10-8. So I guess I would have scored 48-46 for Romero.
In a somewhat, I don't know, funny twist, if you want to call it funny, it was almost the exact opposite of the first fight, right? Because in the first fight, Romero won the first 2 rounds, and then Whittaker won 3, 4, and 5. Now here we thought, I think a lot of people would agree with your scorecard, that we were seeing the complete opposite, but in the end they gave the nod to Whittaker. Let's just put out this, we always have to put out this warning to the audience. This wasn't a robbery, right? This was a very close fight, or do you actually think it was pretty clear cut?
I mean, okay, so the 4th round was the question mark. I thought Romero definitely won the 3rd. You can't really argue that, right? He definitely won the 5th. There's no argument there. I guess you could argue that it wasn't a 10-8, but he definitely won the 5th. The argument is the 4th. Did he win the 4th? I thought he did. Whittaker probably won the majority of the round, but at the end of the round, Romero hit Whittaker with 2 huge shots, you know, had him rocked, and then that was the most significant point, the most significant offense of the round. And if you're using the new rules, if you're using the rules that the ABC guidelines are, the language, it's the it's not the cumulative damage, it is the most significant impact of the one single thing, you know, what the most important thing is, and that was that. So I thought he won the final 3 rounds. So I mean, again, it's not, I guess I wouldn't call it a robbery, but I thought Romero won. I thought it was fairly, not clear, but it was somewhere in between like a robbery and Whittaker winning. It was like, I mean, yeah, there were close moments, but I'm having trouble describing this because it was kind of a weird fight.
July 6, 2018. The Ultimate Fighter 27 finale. Tavares versus Adesanya, Las Vegas, Nevada. In only his 3rd appearance in the UFC, Israel Adesanya is booked in his first UFC main event opposite longtime UFC veteran Brad Tavares.
You see the body language, it's different. I believe what I'm saying, he doesn't. He's just trying to say what the blueprint is and what he thinks he's supposed to say. I'm all hype. Please, he's only here because of me. Check my resume. I keep saying, check my resume. You see my body of work. I'm 2 fights in the UFC, 3 fights in 6 months. I'm running the show now. Who else? Not many, if any.
Do you enjoy wrestling?
Yeah, bro, like no one's ever seen, it's been my secret. Like even we have a guy on my team like Brad Riddell, he's a world champion kickboxer. You guys don't know him, or some of you might know him, Beast, he's around. He's been wrestling for so long, but no one knows it. So same thing when he comes in the UFC or when he's been fighting MMA as well, everyone's gonna try and take him down. So same for me. I've been wrestling for a long time. I've been doing jiu-jitsu since 2010. I've been wrestling probably since 2013. Well, properly since 2015, like consistently. So you guys see my life, you seen all, I bet now 2 UFC fights. How many takedown attempts? How many were successful? Check the stats. Don't even, like sometimes stats lie, numbers can lie, but look at my fighting style. These guys shoot for the hip and they slip, you know, I pull them, I wear them like a pair of pants when they go for a double leg. You know, they go for a single leg, I hit them with a choke. I can do anything, but you guys just haven't seen anyone keep me in a position where I'm uncomfortable, you know? But I get comfortable with the uncomfortable, that's me.
Do you feel like this is the one where you can kind of prove that you're at this level with this kind of fight?
Look at the guys he's lost to, you know, the Romeros, the Whittakers, those are guys that just fought for a title recently, I think in Chicago. So I feel I'm better than those guys, you know. You guys might have your own opinions, you know, everyone on the, you know, say their own shit, but he loses to higher quality competition. And I'm the cream of the crop. So come Friday night, it's another one.
In a breakout performance, Adesanya showcases on Tavares and takes home a dominant unanimous decision. The victory also earns Izzy his first UFC performance bonus.
There was some talk about Adesanya, this being a little bit too early for him to face a quality opponent like Tavares in the middleweight division, a top 10 opponent, a durable veteran. It didn't seem that way in practice tonight.
Absolutely not. I mean, this was a test that even I doubted whether he would be able to pass it. It seemed like it was almost too much too soon. Boy, he proved a lot of us wrong. I mean, that was impressive. To be able to come out here in your 3rd UFC fight, may headline a card and just put on a show. What he did to Brad Tavares tonight was completely impressive. I mean, Brad Tavares, if you look at him historically, the kind of opposition he fights in the UFC, he only loses to A-level opponents for the most part. Israel Adesanya just came out here and blew him out of the water. So his striking is a joy to watch, man. His head is never on the center line. There's fakes and feints all over the place. The elbows and the knees. I mean, there was one point where Tavares had wrist control on him and he kind of did like a step-in elbow from it. He was throwing like the spinning elbows like a John Jones style. It was just so impressive to watch.
To your point, Tavares only has 3 losses going back to 2011, and 2 of those losses are against one Robert Whittaker and one Yoel Romero, who are, by all intents and purposes, the 2 best middleweights in the world.
100%. I came in there, smoke bomb, boom, ninja run. Because I told you it's real ninja shit. And to everyone that keeps saying my hand signs are fake, look, I've been drilling these for a long time. These are not fake hand signs. These are for weeboos, all the anime nerds. Like, you guys don't understand. Like, they keep saying, oh, that bullshit, just fucking doing stupid hand signs. Like, I drill these things and I get them inside. It's for my chakra to infuse them and make sure I can, like, channel it in that moment. You fuck with Naruto? Fuck yeah, I'm in. I like your ninja way. So by blood, I'm Nigerian. and I'm from the people, the Yoruba tribe, you know. So I was speaking, funny thing is, I used to think we had like 60 million people in Nigeria. That's a lot. Then my dad was like, no, we've got like 180 million and counting. I kind of realized, man, that's a lot of people I haven't really they don't, like New Zealand, they know who I am now, but Nigeria doesn't really know who I am. I'm trying to you guys, I'm out here, I'm representing you guys, like, look at my chest. You know, I kind of just let them know, like, I'm here, like, don't, just take notice. Notice me, senpai, notice me. I want to be a legend in this game. The belt's just like another trinket I collect along the way, you know? Yeah, so the belt, it looks good on black skin anyway, so I like gold like that. It shines, illuminates on black skin. So the belt will come, but it's not the end goal, because a lot of guys like, I want to get that belt, I'm going to be the champion, you know? And they get the belt, and the next fight they lose the belt, because that was the pinnacle. I was like, oh, that was it. I'm just trying to fuck everyone up in my era, in my weight class. So when it's all said and done, like, you know, Israel was the guy. He was smoking everyone, you know? I mean, I saw something as well on Instagram today. It was 5 or 6 years ago. It was an end to an era in the middleweight division, you know? Anderson Silva lost his title, and that was after a 12-something fight run. I can't remember. Lost it to Chris Weidman. So, and that was today, 5 years ago. And yeah, now, as a new avatar in the world, the cycle continues. So I'm that guy now. I'm gonna make my run, because he inspired me with what he did, you know, and he's still rostered on, so he can catch these hands. Like I said, just because I'm a fan doesn't mean you can't catch these hands.
November 3rd, 2018. UFC 230, Cormier versus Lewis, New York, New York. The Stylebender is booked for his 4th fight in 2018 against his toughest competition to date, the top-ranked Derek Brunson.
Where does the bad blood between you guys stem from? Is it just the product of you guys fighting each other? Like, I mean, you guys have been pretty heated with each other.
It's his insecurities. That's where it stemmed from. I had no beef, you know, I'm chilling. But it's his insecurities that are surfacing up, you know, because he's never been in this, and he sees what I'm getting, all the shine, all the money, all the clout that I'm supposedly getting because of all the work I'm doing. And he's been here for so long. This is only my 1st year in the company, not even a year. And I'm doing way more than he's ever done in his whole career. So, yeah, I think it's just insecurity showing up.
Adesanya defeats Brunson by KO late in the 1st round. The victory also earns Izzy back-to-back Performance of the Night bonus checks.
I won't say he did whatever he wanted, because that's not true. Early on, Brunson was kind of all over him. But he was stuffing the takedowns, creating separation, getting his back off the fence. Yeah. And then he just lit him on fire. Israel Adesanya is on a rocket ship to the stars, ladies and gentlemen.
Man, it wasn't pretty until the moment it was pretty, because it was one of those situations. Brunson was going after him, headhunting. We knew he would do this. He was kind of making it rough. He was taking him in. He was kind of pushing him against the cage a little bit. And you're thinking, this may be a tough night. It may be where he has to kind of grind out a win or something like that. But as soon as he tagged them the first time, this is always, you look at these guys with this kind of swagger, you see it slow down for them. This isn't a guy who jumped in all nuts and wanted to go for the kill. It slowed down for him. You could see him dial in, you could see him drop his hands and just take his time, making sure, like he said, he's like a surgeon, like every shot means something, he wants to touch his chin. You could see that. And when you see that type of thing, that makes you see that it factor that we always talk about. That's when you see it in full. So when you see a guy in that situation.
I think part of the reason they have this it factor is a lot of people think you can just will yourself to greatness by saying these things, and to some extent you can actually. It really is true, the power of belief. But I don't think he's trying to raise himself to a level. He has experienced it with other men, and it has told him who he is in the pecking order. He just takes that to the next fight. I spoke to him privately over here in the corner. He was telling me, he mentioned it here briefly. I was saying, like, what was your reaction after his over? He goes, I couldn't believe how slow Derek Brunson was. Like, he could just see everything move in a way that none of the rest of us could. And
it was reminiscent, honestly, of the Silva. We were talking about the Silva Griffin fight, where you see the difference suddenly. Like you see it in real time, and it actually calculates to your human eye, like your ability to see that, to discern the speed difference.
Were you actually really mad about the short grab? You flipped him off. You're yelling at ref.
He's cheating. That's cheating. And he said to ref, only did it once. He did it twice. Watch the tape. Literally, watch the tape. He did it the first thing he did when he shot. He grabbed on my right side, and I just felt like, okay, Herb didn't see that. I kind of glanced. And then the second time was just so blatant because he's panicking. He was scared. I was just, oh, I need to take this guy down. And thing is, I kind of half hope he did. I wanted him to just half hope, like, so I can just show him what was up. And then when I sweep him, show him what my top game's like. Because a lot of these guys keep thinking, oh, he's just a kickboxer. The smart ones, only the smartest coaches would have been watching for a long time. They would have been seeing what I'm doing. And they would have been like, okay, this guy's getting better. And he said, oh, I see him beat Brad. I thought he could fight okay. Who's okay now? Who's skinny now? Huh? You got bodied by a skinny. What you mean? So, you have, before the fight, I wouldn't tell a lot of you guys this. I didn't want to say like, oh, I want, Chris Weidman was the only guy I felt if he won, even in lackluster fashion, but if he won in spectacular fashion, he would be the guy next in line. That's how I felt. But now that didn't happen, you have Jacare, who has lost to both Kelvin and Robert, Who wants to see that again? Come on. No one wants to see that again. So then you go, who else? Now, Jared. Jared, he did well tonight. I didn't really see the fight, so I wasn't sure if it was a back and forth or if it was an ass whooping. But I know he did well tonight in the third round, but I got mine done in the first round, so yeah, I leapfrogged that. And then you have Yoel, didn't make it, unreliable. Rockhold, and also he missed weight. Yoel doesn't make weight all the time, so that's unreliable. Rockhold, he makes weight, but same thing, pulls out, unreliable. Pull out game strong. Who else do we have? Need something fresh, like something that just makes sense, like, trans-Tasman rivalry. You've got the Aussies. If he wins, what's up, Guns? If he wins, Robert, if he wins against Calvin, even if he doesn't, if Calvin wins, we can still do it. Mexicano versus the Kiwi, the black Kiwi, the Niger boy. But if Robert wins, it just makes so much sense to do it in Auckland, Spark Arena. Because when I talked to Dana, like, after my last fight, he said, yeah, I want to make some crazy money. And I was like, yeah, so let's make some crazy money.
February 9th, 2019. UFC 234, Silva versus Adesanya, Melbourne, Australia. Originally booked as the co-main event, Adesanya faces the legend Anderson Silva.
I know you can't look past Anderson Silva, perhaps the greatest of all time, but looking at the man right there to your left, this would be. I mean, I gotta imagine, Rob's got a tough test as well, but is that the fight that you would like most? Because I imagine, yes, especially down here, maybe a stadium.
Of course, we're looking at Sydney, maybe Brisbane, somewhere, but first, 2, 3, 4, this weekend, Sunday, we both have big tests ahead of us, and everyone, I seen the odds this week, and I'm like, man, y'all must have forgot. Like Roy Jones said, y'all must have forgot. You don't know who that man over there, Anderson Silva. I think a lot of you new fans weren't around during his reign, what it felt like. You might have come around the Rousey era or the McGregor era, but you don't realize who this guy is. So he brought me into this game, This guy inspired me to be able to believe like a skinny black guy can just come in here and fuck everyone up. So he brought me into this game, and for me, it'll be an honor to take him out the game.
You said you're here to have a good time. Yesterday at the open workouts, you did a pro wrestling workout. What made you want to do that?
First of all, sorry, John Vake, because I hit that rock bottom too hard. We practiced it; it was cool. I was able to control the fall, but in the hype of everything, I like all my weight went on him, and I saw him like arch his back, and I was like, "Sorry, bro, you ready?" And it kept on going. But yeah, I'm having a good. This is entertainment. This is still entertainment at the end of the day. So a lot of these guys don't know how to play the game. They know. I've always been an entertainer through my dancing, through my artistry, through my me. I've just always been a very interesting, entertaining person. So that was just cool. And the Attitude Era was my era. So you see me hit the Stone Cold Stunner. I bring out the People's Elbow with the little bit of the Ric Flair strut, and then the half-ass Spinneroonie. I did a better one on the embedded. I hope they put it on there because I got like mad spin. But on that one, I was like, I didn't get enough traction. I was like, fuck it. But I fixed it with the Shawn Michaels kick up, so that was cool.
I don't give a fuck. Look, I'm a fan of this man. But just because I'm a fan doesn't mean you can't catch these hands and elbow and feet and knee. Tomorrow, we're going to throw everything in the cage. We're going to have fun, all right? I'll send him off in a nice way. Let's go.
There he is, folks. Israel Adesanya.
Adesanya cruises to a unanimous decision.
The best way I could describe it was like being in a twilight zone. So when I get to download my thoughts alone, then I can kind of like, But one thing is that was cool. That was cool as fuck. Like, just even when he caught one of my kicks and I knew he was trying to catch it, and like I tripped, and as I was getting back up, I was like, all right, here comes a flying knee. I've seen this many times. And I just slid to the left. And I was like, I've seen this too many. And he tried so many tricks that I've seen. Even when I made him faint and he'd react like, you know, like say example, if he react with his hands out, then he'd just bring it back and do the hand kung fu shit. And I'm like, my man, I've seen these too many times. Even like UFC 112, Abu Dhabi with Damian Maia. He's trying to bait him to strike. Like, come on, throw your biggest shot. So he put his hands down and like even put his back against the fence. That's how Bisping got caught with an up kick. I'm not stupid, you know? I don't think I look stupid, but I'm smarter than I look. But yeah, hands down, getting punched in the face with some measly strikes and they expecting me to throw a big one. Like, oh, I'm like, dude, it was cool. It was cool, just a cool experience. And I said after the fight, everyone else plays it on EA Sports and I get to play it in real life with the real dudes. So I win.
April 13th, 2019, UFC 236, Holloway vs. Poirier 2, Atlanta, Georgia. Israel the Stylebender Adesanya is set to face Kelvin Gastelum for the interim UFC middleweight championship.
6 fights in 14 months. I know that you wanted to get back in here. You always say about the itchy knuckles, which I love that phrase. But has this just been physically and mentally exhausting at this point? Like, I can't understand how you can keep this pace at this point. Has it been physically and mentally exhausting to some degree at least?
Because you know what I mean? No one's me. Honestly, like, for me, I've done this throughout my whole career and people just kind of, oh, aren't you tired? Are you all right? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. I get my rest in between. I know how to play hard and I know how to work hard. Let's put it that way.
The way your whole UFC run is playing out, now it's led to this. Does this kind of feel like destiny in a way?
100%. Dude, look at the fight after this. Come on. Big super fight between the fucking Mozzie and the All Black, the Flying Kiwi. You know, it's just, yeah, it's destiny. The way this movie is, this is the Silva fight was the end of my first movie. Leading up to this fight is the beginning of my next movie, and it's gonna end after the Whittaker fight.
In what MMA fighting called Fight of the Year, Adesanya defeats Gastelum by unanimous decision to win the interim title.
It's definitely a front runner for Fight of the Year for me.
For
Israel Adesanya coming through, he perseveres through danger. He ends up defeating Kelvin Gastelum via decision and winning this interim title. Just give me your thoughts on this fight, your takeaways. Is this a star-making performance for Israel Adesanya?
I can't imagine it's not. How are you not a star after that? It's not your pick for Fight of the Year. It is Fight of the Year. You know, Justin Gaethje may fight later this year, and so he's always at risk to take that. But it's going to be hard for even him to do this. I mean, it's one of the best fights I've ever seen. It's certainly the best fight I've ever seen live. You're right. The crowd was so into it, so loud, so explosive about it. Honestly, I felt like I'd been in the fight at the end of it. I just had this huge adrenaline dump, and it was hard to get ready for the main event, which was what we all were really pumped for coming in. It's hard to even put into words kind of what that was. If that doesn't make Israel Adesanya a star, what are we even doing here? You know, he was going to be a star anyway, though. This just elevates him. It gives him a belt to carry around. It sets up, I think, my favorite fight in the sport right now. I think Israel Adesanya versus Robert Whittaker, I think that's the #1 fight I want to see right now.
Well, I want to ask you about that fight in a little bit, but first, Israel comes into this fight. He ends up taking control early, and then Kelvin kind of switches things up in the middle rounds. In that 4th round, it really looked as though he had Israel in major, major danger, and he ends up shooting for a takedown, and that seemed to me to maybe be a pivotal decision in the fight, a pivotal turning point in the fight, because Izzy was really on shaky legs, and then he comes out in that 5th round and just lays the wood on Kelvin Gastelum in those final minutes. He was probably 10 seconds away from getting a finish. I want to ask you, same question I asked about Dustin. Did this fight teach you anything about Israel Adesanya, change your opinion about him at all?
Tell him he's got a great ground game, apparently. I know he's been saying it, but maybe I just didn't believe it. But I mean, you saw that 5th round. There were some transitions there. He went guillotine into triangle into another triangle, and a couple of those were really tight. That guillotine, Kelvin just bailed on because he knew he was in trouble. That 2nd triangle, it looked dangerous. I mean, it was at the end of a long fight. They were sweaty and bloody, so gives Kelvin a little bit of an edge there, but dude's got grapples. That's everyone in the division needs to watch out. With that type of striking and a lethal submission game on top of it, Robert Whittaker has his hands full.
And you know, that's the fight, right? Robert Whittaker, and probably in Australia, maybe in New Zealand, just in some area like that. How big do you think that fight could be?
I think locally in that region, it's going to be a monster. I think
is that a stadium? Can you do a stadium for that?
100%. I think everyone is on the same page with that. Just go as big as you can out there, blow it all the way out, because Israel Adesanya is one of the best young stars in the sport. This is a sensational fight. They're going to be able to fill that up, no problem. Pay-per-views are always interesting, especially, you know, tonight was the first night of the ESPN On Plus pay-per-view experience. We'll see kind of how that shakes out, but it's definitely a monster fight, and I can't wait for it. I'm so excited.
What are those moments like when you're inside those moments where you guys are just going at it absolutely crazy? Like you said, you're willing to die in there. What is that moment actually like when you're the one in there?
It's hard to explain. Only those who dare, like, put themselves out there like we do will ever experience anything like that. And just in those moments, like I said, I could see why people wilt. And even Eugene told me, you can see on the embedded, he's a guy you just have to break him down. You're not going to get him out of there with one shot, Eugene said. You just have to break him down. And I was, you know, the leg kicks were paying off, slowing him down. My oblique kicks they're working a little bit. But yeah, he blocked all my head kicks, I think. I can't remember. I'll have to have a look at the fight again. But those moments in there, yeah, I can see why people wilt, but I'm not one to quit. I'm strong mentally. I'm bulletproof in the brain. And I'm fucked in the head a little bit. So I just knew you're not going to break me, because I've had 8 guys, 10 guys. I was going to say run a train, but in a different way. On me in training. And I'm like, if they can't break me, one man can't break me. And he's a tough one hell of a man.
August 17th, 2019, UFC 241, Cormier vs. Miocic 2, Anaheim, California. Romero returns to the UFC cage to face top contender, the undefeated Paulo Costa. Romero would lose a closely contested but highly entertaining decision.
Man, let me tell you about Izzy. I'll share a personal story with Izzy. Yoel, everybody knows, that's my boy, that's my brother. We've been training together. All that, you know? So I see Izzy after my fight with Ben at a club. And Izzy's a wild motherfucker. He's got his shirt off in the nightclub, women everywhere. I'm immediately like, I love this motherfucker. And we're just talking shit, just shooting the breeze, you know? Just two fighters that love what they do, you know? And he pulls me close. Come here, let me tell you something, Masvidal. He's like, man, I know Yoel's your boy. Listen, to me, that's the baddest motherfucker. Until I fight that dude, my legacy won't be complete. Now, it's in the club, so I don't know if he said those exact words, legacy and complete, but he clearly made it to me. And this is why I love Izzy, man. Nobody in the history has ever wanted to fight Yoel. Nobody's wanted, they get forced into fighting Yoel. Ask anybody. Ask one of the toughest motherfuckers to do it, Whittaker. Ask anybody if they want to fight Yoel. And after you fight Yoel, you see what happens. You're never the same. Nobody. And Izzy looked me in my soul and told me, he goes, I'm going to fight Yoel. It didn't matter who was off. If they could offer him Joe Schmo for the belt, it didn't matter to him. He wanted to fight Yoel. And right then and there, I knew the type of character he was. Like, man, this guy is who he says he is. He wants to fight the best, the baddest of the baddest. I fucking saluted him and said, man, God bless you in your journey, man, because he's an animal.
As Yoel's training partner and friend, I'm sure you don't think Israel is going to defeat him, I imagine, correct?
I think Israel has... How long has he been fighting exactly? MMA?
Not a couple of years. He's only been in the UFC for like a year and a half.
That guy has so much talent and just his fucking pinky. It's crazy, man. Obviously, Yoel, we have a relationship, you know? That's my boy, and I think he's another guy that has so much that I know for myself because I've been alongside him a while. So much talent in just his pinky as well. So it's one of those fights that, like, wow, this is a great fight. Does Izzy have the tools to beat him? Of course. Izzy could, on his night, Izzy could beat anybody and make it look easy. But can Yoel also beat Izzy? Hell yeah. There's not a person And it goes all the way to heavyweight. That Joel can't hit and dismantle your fucking face, man. That being said, I thought he won his last fight, man.
October 5th, 2019. UFC 243. Whittaker versus Adesanya, Melbourne, Australia. The interim champion, Israel Adesanya, is set to face the champion, Robert Whittaker, in front of 57,000 plus fans at Marvel Stadium.
You can make $100 million in the UFC. You don't have to go to boxing. That's such a, like, it's only Mayweather's gonna make that. You know, only McGregor's gonna make that, like when he fought Mayweather. So it's like, that's a Mayweather effect. That's gonna happen in the UFC. I guarantee you. I might be the first to do it in the UFC. If McGregor comes back and compete with me for that, but I might be the first to do that in the UFC. So I don't go to, it's not about money at the end of the day. I'm doing this for legacy. So this is where I'm gonna end my career. I don't wanna like fight the baddest motherfuckers in the world and then go fight some guy, oh, we'll duke it out, but we'll just use our hands. I gotta kick someone in the face.
Say something about your star power to have John Jones kind of tweeting at you the way he is and talking about you like that. Sometimes he doesn't even mention guys, you know?
Not really, I don't think so, but it just shows you how much I'm under his skin, how much I get to him, that's it.
You definitely see that fight happening in the future, right?
I told you, 2021, Raiders Stadium, Las Vegas.
You know, you spoke about Mayweather there. Do you look up to him in any kind of way, what he's done?
Man, he's the fucking money, I've been money team for a long time. And when he fought McGregor, I was going for McGregor because when I fought in boxing, you know, my first fight, they made me lose. That's my only loss. And I rocked the guy in the first round, smoked him in the second round, and I coasted in the third round, and they gave it to him. And that's because a guy with no amateur record, no pro record in boxing, coming in and making one of the best boxers in Australia look shit, you know? So when he fought Mayweather, I was like, I want McGregor to win because I can relate to that. So yeah, I look at Mayweather, look when it was Pretty Boy Floyd, what he did, and look at him as Money May. He knew the formula. He created that that not everyone followed. Like Ali did that as well. Like a lot of people have done that for years, but he's done it the best.
In breathtakingly violent fashion, Stylebender knocks out Bobby Knuckles 3 minutes and 33 seconds into the second round, becoming the undisputed UFC middleweight champion.
People, after seeing that entrance, I bet you the green-eyed monsters were like, I fucking hope this guy loses. I fucking hope. I'm sure some of you in here as well. Oh, this asshole, look at him, thinks he's a fucking man. I hope he loses. I hope he gets flatlined. You know, because that's just that. It's ingrained in us. It's this tall puppy syndrome. It's this jealousy that when you see someone shining, you feel like it takes away from your own shine. I'm like, look, I can't dim my shine just because some people feel uncomfortable. Everything went full circle tonight. I danced with some of my day ones, my guys, not even day -5s, guys that I've known from way back. You know, Jay, I used to look up to him, you know, back in Rotorua. Jesse, I taught him how to dance, and now he's just taking it and run with it. And to have them, you know, set the tone for me and just have fun. And like I said, when I'm having fun, I'm the best in the world. So I was having fun. And when I saw him walk out, he was too intense. And you can't fake that shit. You can put your hoodie over your eyes and all you want. I can smell it's pheromones, you know, I can smell it off him. I was like, he's not with it. And he was doing the right moves, but there was no feeling behind it. So I saw everything coming. He hit me a few times, but like I don't like getting hit because not that I'm a bitch or I'm not tough. I am, but it's not smart. But yeah, I just showed you guys I can take it and give it as well, apparently, because I have no knockout power and I got pillow hands. Boo-hoo. You know, you ever heard about the anime called Death Note? Anyone? Hands up? Yeah, so he's the Grim Reaper, right? I have a Shinigami with me. And I just had to write his name because I was like, he's not gonna last. I just wrote his name in a Death Note. And those who knows the rules of the Death Note, they know there's a certain time frame that after your name's written in the Death Note, the Shinigami will get you. So yeah, it is what it is. And it happened as it's supposed to be. I told you, I'm a dancer, I'm an entertainer. Like, I don't have to worry about it. We came up with that on Wednesday. I tried to do it at the Silva fight in February, and the UFC were like, no, we can't have that. I was like, oh, fuck you then. And then this fight, this is my show. I'm headlining this bitch. So I was like, no, I'm gonna do it my way or no way. Like, who else on this kind of stage is gonna do that before they go and whoop some ass, you know? No one, I think James Tahuna is the only one that's ever done it from what I can remember with the Men in Black intro, and Anderson Silva did it in Pride with his Michael Jackson shit. But like, I showed you guys, if I could sing, trust me, Justin Bieber wouldn't even have a job. But you know, you don't want to hear me sing. But yeah, like, you got to realize this is the spectacle, man. This is a big stadium. I had to give them a show and set the tone. And there's no one like me, like no one.
March 7th, 2020. UFC 248, Adesanya vs. Romero, Las Vegas, Nevada. The undefeated 18-0 UFC middleweight champion Israel Adesanya is set to face Yoel Romero as the main event at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada.